Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi, screwing the beginning up as usual. Diablo 4 gameplay. What if it's not about you? So today you're going to see me do some gameplay. I'm on tier 7. It's a nightmare dungeon. As I've told you in some of the other videos, the tiers just go up and up and up. So that's a way for you to kind of test yourself, have a little bit more of a challenge. But I want to talk to you today, something that as an adult you should be aware of. I understand if you're a young adult, you might not have this yet, or maybe you have the beginnings of it. Maybe you do have it, and it's a congratulations, because it's really a special thing to have in your life. What am I talking about? Everyone has some type of analogy for the world is about them, whether they imagine themselves in a movie, when they have an out-of-body experience where they're over looking at their body, when things are happening with what something happens at school, or something happens at work, or something happens to you on the way to somewhere or whatever. You usually look at it from your perspective, and that's a perfectly natural thing. But what if it's not about you? There once was a woman, her name was Anna Maravellis. I think I told you about her. She came to a couple of companies I was at. One was a subsidiary of the main company, and she talked to us about conflict resolution and those kind of things. And one of the concepts she had, I think she had a book called it was something about that people, I will look it up while we're doing this, but basically one of the things she talked about was the baby in the back seat. And what did baby in the Maravellis? What did baby in the back seat mean? Imagine you're up at a light and the light turns green, and then the person in front of you doesn't move. At first you might lightly tap your horn and they still sit there. And you still might be sitting there and bummed out. And then again, they still sit there. Eventually they get out of the car, run around to the back seat, and their baby was choking, and the person just was trying to take care of their baby. And so what that was meant for us to do was, man, she changed the title of her book, or she doesn't do it anymore. It was something to do with the problems with people who are otherwise normally good at work kind of thing, but she's changed her book. But one of the things is you got to look at the story from a different side. So you look at if you're empathetic and you put yourself in that woman's position, of course her baby's more important than moving at the stoplight. In almost every single situation, I just would ask you to do this for the next couple of days. Not for the whole entire day, not for every instant of every interaction with someone, but just try to put yourself. Don't be sympathetic. Don't feel sorry for someone because, man, it must suck. I want you to try to imagine yourself in their shoes and how it might be. So they might have said something to you, but you don't know what their causative things are doing that. And I'm not perfect at this, but I think in my last video when I was running through the Legendary and the Division, it wasn't about me. The folks in the guild, the DOG guild, they kept stopping, and I'm sure the guy was dropping loot for his clan member. That run in Legendary wasn't about me getting my stupid exotic. It was about that new player just turned level 40, just watched level 1, and someone in his guild, probably the guild leader, took him to a Legendary. I used to shoot first and ask questions later. And when I was a boss, I would do that quite a bit. When I was in the Coast Guard, I would I had varying degrees of success, so you could look it up. I was often in charge of ANTS, AIDS Navigation Team, LA Long Beach, and AIDS Navigation Team, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. At Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, those folks there had no idea that I was coming. Roy Potter was my XO. He was a machine technician, second class, MK2. I think we had a seaman, a fireman. Might have had someone else. I apologize. Fourth person if I don't remember who you are. And so when we came there, they had been running things a certain way. And I talked to you in the last video about you might go to a place and they're running things a certain way and you can't change a culture. That's a time when I could change culture. I was in charge, and so I was going to change the culture. To what culture, Ronan? I was going to change a culture. We're in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. It's probably warm 60 days out of the year. It gets really cold. It's really snowy. And I didn't want the people that worked for me out in the inclement weather unless it was for like an outage. So at AIDS Navigation Team, you're working on all the land-based lights and maybe some small buoys, but mainly the land-based lights. So like when someone's navigating up and down a river, they don't have mile markers, but they'll have they call them day boards. They're a certain type of fluorescent green or red taped piece of plywood with some retro tape around it. So when you're going up and down, you'll say, oh, that's green number 3 at the turn, right? So it's just a way to help boats navigate, ships. In the Coast Guard, you're helping, the main reason you're there is to help commerce up and down these waterways. And coincidentally, you get to help the fellow mariners, but really what you're there for, in the AIDS Navigation Team, you're there to, help make sure the waterway is navigable by the AIDS navigation, the visual aids, or day or night. So we had 93 aids in our area of responsibility, and so we did them all in 1 month. Normally they spread those out over a year. So what were they going to do the next 11 months? That was number one culture that I was going to change. Number two, we worked 7 to 1 every single day. And that was different than everyone up there. It's called tropical hours, but we're in Sault Ste. Marie, which is far from tropical. But I couldn't give anyone that worked for me more money. I could give them more time. And what did I want in return? I wanted a lot. I wanted them to be really good. I wanted each one of them to pass their courses so they could advance to the next pay grade. That was really important to me. I wanted them to be so well trained that they were better than anyone they would come across in the Coast Guard. That was my goal for them. So how did I get there? Because when I was in their shoes, no one cared about me. They kind of nudged me a little bit, but I took all my tests on my own. I matriculated through there, but I had mentoring in a different way. The people didn't mentor me on the nuts and bolts on how to get ahead in the Coast Guard or how to be a leader in the Coast Guard. They would mentor me how to take all those skills I had and forge them into a very sharp blade that I could cut through and I could accomplish things. So that's what I wanted to give the people that worked for me. I didn't want to think about me. I didn't care. I had already was successful. I already was officer in charge. I could have just done nothing and sat in my office every single day and not done anything. But I didn't choose to do that. So when you're in your job, are you only thinking about you? When you're in your relationship, are you only thinking about you? Male or female? Do you only think about how the relationship impacts you, what it means to you? When's the last time you had that wonder that you looked at things through a child's eyes, a grandchild's eyes, a niece, a nephew's eyes? All these things you can make an impact on. But the world's not always about you. I'd caution you There's a fine line to codependency where you will cross it and you will make everything, you will be subservient to everyone and bad people that aren't going to do good things for you. So I'm not asking you to do that. If you're already a giving person, you have to husband, you have to take care of that gift that you have. You just can't give it to everyone. You can't give pearls to swine. You just can't do it. Conversely, though, you can't make it always about you, because it's not always about you. Well, except for this, YouTube. If you could please like, subscribe, share, unsubscribe, resubscribe, hit the notification bell. Help me get to 500. What am I going to do when I get at 500? I'd like to review laptops, because I think that if you look at a laptop and you get a review, they're very superficial. They just go over specs. Those are the features of a laptop, not the benefits. I'd buy a laptop, use it for a month, make it my gaming laptop, do all my stuff on it, review it then, and then just raffle it off to YouTube. And I don't think you can do a very good... Now, how could you get reviews out more often? You'd have to have, if that's all I did, yes, I could do more reviews like that. But I'd have to have 3 or 4 computers running at the same time. Like, this is week 1 of this computer. This is week 3 of this computer, right? You'd have to stage them in there. But I don't think that's, what's the point of a review? You're helping someone make a purchase with their own money. It's kind of like a build video. Build videos are very, very much popular. They're very watched on YouTube. But really, that's what I would be showing you on this computer, on this iPad. If I went through my process, how I make the videos, I haven't been able to do it in a way that looks good yet. And so maybe I have to do that. The process for me to do the video, the cutting and splicing and doing all that kind of things virtually, is very fast. It happens in a few minutes. This recording, so what's happening now is I'm watching the replay of the video and I'm commenting on it. The other thing in my mind is there is a story that I'm going to tell. I'm talking every single day. I'm putting a video every single day, so there's some linkage between these videos, because I want you to think of this as a podcast. What if it was a podcast that you didn't have to watch? You could turn it on your car and just listen to it. I'm going to describe some gameplay sometimes, but I'm using the game as a vehicle to explain some things in life, some leadership, some followership. Sometimes it's not about you. Again, there's a balance between focusing on you. I don't know what it is. We're not machines. I can't say it's 60% for you and 40% for the other person. Unless it's a child, then you might bump them up to 44.3%. Like we're not machines. And what I'm coming to realize as I tell you all these things in these videos is that we're so fluid and everything is so dynamic. There's some things that are solid. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit. But does it, YouTube? Does it really? It doesn't. It does that. What's the thing I'm missing, YouTube? Anyone? Someone? Bueller? Anyone? Someone? Bueller? At sea level. Right? Water boils at a lower temperature depending on the air pressure. That's how a pressure cooker works. That's why when I was growing up, they used to have that on every single macaroni and cheese. When you're making macaroni and cheese, they're telling you, ooh, there's someone on Discord. Welcome, Discord person that I can't see because I don't have that up. And so things are very fluid everywhere. We'd like to think that our senses are true. What I observe is true, but your eyes lie to you all the time. What you're looking at right now occurred in the past. This isn't my original thought. I heard this from a very smart person. I don't know his name. I'll look it up so we can kind of have an idea who that is. But they had a philosophy about some of this, but basically what they were saying is everything you see is in the past because the speed of light, isn't instantaneous that you see those things. Now, if you're in a car going down the highway and you close your eyes, physics kind of takes you 2 or 3 more seconds into this future that you're not looking at, but you could hit a truck or do whatever else. So we'll talk about it another day. That's a very interesting topic, but YouTube, appreciate it. It's not all about you unless I make a video just for you. Then it's all about you. Thank you, YouTube. Ronan Kazi out.